This video will show you how to pick a room when it comes time for general room selection. To start general room selection, log into My Central and go to Student, Records and Registration and find the Housing section down below. Within the Housing section, use the side scroll bar to find the Housing Assignment Gateway. Once you locate the gateway and get inside, you will want to look for the housing reapplication and room selection process for the current year. Specifically, you want to look for general room selection and click here for the general room selection, the red bar here. Once you're in the module, make sure that you expand the window fully so that you can see the full selection bars down below, including the next step buttons. Once you're in the module, be sure to list all the information, see all the information listed here. If you plan to go in with a roommate or suite mate, do make sure that you have their roommate or PIN, or make sure that they have your PIN if they plan to pull you in as a roommate. And as a reminder, when you do this booking, you're booking for the fall and spring semester of the following year. Hit next step once you've reviewed all of the information. If you're pulling in a roommate or suite mate, you will do this on this screen. You would need their university ID, their last name, and their PIN. Also, if someone is pulling you in as a roommate or suite mate, you would not need to complete this process. They would use your last name, your ID, and your PIN to pull you in as a roommate or suite mate. We're going to proceed now as if you do not have a roommate or suite mate and circle back later to do that process. If you're going in solo by yourself and want to pick a room, this is what the screen would look like. Do make sure you have the screen maximized again and review all the information here. This will explain how to search for a room along the screen here. If you want to look for specifically a single room, you will see the drop-down menu for room type. You will be able to search by building, either double room or single room. You can also search for a number of bed spaces available. So if you are going in with 4 people for a full suite, you can search for all the rooms on campus that have 4 spaces available within a suite. You will see the left side drop-down menu for East and West Campus that will also drop down into each building as well as each floor. You can click on each building to get a view of the building and see a highlighted screen of each floor that is available. The hover screen will show you East Ellis second floor, as example, or East Ellis third floor. If you were to pick a different building, such as House, you would see a building view of that building, as well as what floors are available, including House first floor or House second. You can also search by gender. So for me, this will go whatever your sex is based on in the system. But if I want to look for, say, a single room over in East Ellis and click search, it'll reset that screen and it'll show me there was no rooms currently available. That's because I have set it to 4. But if I want to look for one single room in East Ellis, the menu will drop down on the left here and I can click Building East Ellis, or when I'm back on the campus map, I can specifically look for the building of East Ellis and click on that. I want to live on the lowest floor because less stairs is great. I can pick the floor and you will see a floor diagram. You want to look for a green bed. That green bed indicates that that room is available for you. In this instance, you see that there is a green bed here in 168. If I want to live there, that would be great. So I'm going to click on that green bed space, which will create a lock for 5 minutes. In this case, I do want this room, so I would click reserve this room, and I would get an OK message at the top to click OK, and then I would instantly get an email message to confirm my bed space for the following year. If you do not get a room verification email, you did not complete the process correctly and will need to proceed and do it again. Once you're done, you can simply close the screen and you're done with room selection. However, we're going to go back as if we were picking a roommate. You would use this process if you're picking a roommate or suite mate, and then you would be able to bring in either your roommate as well as 2 additional suite mates or even just 1 additional suite mate. To do this, you need their ID number, their last name, and once you hit search, you need to make sure you have their PIN number, which they set in the Housing Assignment Gateway. Once you have the information correctly, their name will appear in a drop-down. To add additional people, just click the green button again to add them. Once you're ready to move forward with your roommate, you can hit the next step, and you will get the campus map view once again. In this case, you will need to look for a double room since you do have a roommate in mind. Or if you want to both live in a single suite, you can look for East Ellis or any building single room, look for 2 spots, and hit search. This then will give you all the options of any building that have single rooms for 2 people. This shows me that 165 and 163 are available as a suite for single rooms. But in this case, we want to live together as roommates. But we also want to live over in South Theater. So I would click for South Theater double room, and I can also click for 2 bed spaces to make sure there is a room available for 2 people. And you would hit search. You can find West Campus on the map or use a drop-down menu. In this case, I'm going to use the map and drill into South Theater. I want to live on the first floor. That's pretty easy. I will return to the diagram and see all areas that are available. In this case, I see that there's a suite here, but there is one person already in this option here. So that doesn't really work for me. So I'm going to go to the ground floor. In this situation, I see that ground 16 and 18 are available, and that works for me and my roommate. So I'm going to click 16, click on the green bed that shows that it's available. And in this process, you would assign yourself and any roommate or suite mates that you're bringing into your suite. In this case, assigning one person to one room or one bed space, and that person to the other. Do pay attention to bed space A and B in the same room. That means you're assigning individuals to each bed space within that room. The other ones down below will be the suite. If you're not assigning anyone to that suite, leave it blank. But if you had additional people as suite mates, you would be able to drop them down and provide them there as well. If you hover over the screen here, you will see the classification of the room. So South Theater, DBL is double room. If it was SGL, I mean, it is a single room. You also see the rate details for the current year. Do note that these are for the current year and not the following year. The following year's rates have not been determined by the UCM Board of Governors. Those will be determined mid-spring semester and will be available on our housing website. If you're happy with this assignment, you have 5 minutes to lock it or have it locked. If you're happy with it, you would simply click reserve this room and you would get a confirmation email as well as anyone that you have booked into a bed space. So an example, these 2 people would both get a confirmation email. If you wish to go back and find another room, you would simply go back, hit the next step after your roommates, and that would return you to the map. In this case, you actually want to hit the release lock. That releases the room, and that sends you back to the map view to find a different room. So if I wanted to return back and find a different room in East Ellis, I would then go back and find a different option. Once I find a different room that I want to pick, redo the selection into what room and then what bed spaces each person will go, and again, hit reserve this room. Once you do that, you're all done with room selection. If at any point you want to change what room you're in, you'll need to go back and redo the room selection process link. If someone books you into a space and you no longer want to be part of that roommate group, you will also need to simply go back and choose the general room selection link and go find yourself a bed space. And then once you pick that, you're all done.